So, hi everyone, Neil Salvage here, and thanks for joining me, and welcome to this third season of Gassing On. I'm going to take a slightly different look during this course of, content that I'm going to put out, and it's really to focus in on some of the things we do or some of the things we don't do at work, and that regularly crop up during, certainly while I'm out and assessing and visiting teams on sites, and also dealing with project teams, project supervisors, managing directors of companies. It's just good I thought, to share some of this and have it as a kind of reference point to dip in and out of as and when, or, if you think it's relevant. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to be looking into some various aspects. Hopefully I'll bring some different speakers in and get various takes on certain topics that are maybe hot topics at the moment, or things that might be coming through the pipeline. So thanks again for joining us. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at, there's two elements I want to look at. First of all, we got verification. Now, this has been a bit of a bee in the bonnet for, since its conception in 2014, when Syria wrote 735. There was a lot of, first of all, the document came out. Different people have got different interpretations of how it should be used and implemented in their projects. Really, the 735 document is quite critical to the design phase of the work, that verification should be part of the design process of gas protection. So that's a key pin in the construction of a project, and that it all works. But what I've been seeing recently, and this is cropping up more and more, that the verification is taken as it's just purely checking the membrane, going out looking that the membrane's there. Is it intact? Is it well jointed and detailed? Which is, yes, it's very good. But we've got all the peripheral things that 735 talks about, such as ventilation and structure. Now, again, they're key design elements that verifiers should be looking at as part of the gas protection system. British Standard 8485 clearly states, in the design process, that those three elements are all drawn together. But often I see them not being verified. Ventilation is certainly very often overlooked, and it's becoming a little bit frustrating, I'd say, for certainly some of the technicians, but also the level of verification that's taking place. Now, I've recently done a trip up to Scotland, and I was meeting a specialist team up there, very good installers doing good quality work. And the unfortunate thing was, they were hanging around on site purely because they told that we have to wait for the verifier. And this was constant. Every job we were visiting with the guys over a course of 3 days, they were always waiting for a verification officer to turn up. And I just asked, is this common, is every job verified? And they said, here in Scotland, the rule is that every job is 100% verification on everything. And I didn't get too involved with the learners, because it's not really in their domain to question that, or, they might have their comments and thoughts on it. Anyway, we went back to the project team for that company, and I said, 100% verification, that's quite rigid and stringent on you, isn't it? And they said, yeah, I know. And he said, it's a little bit unfair, I think, because we also hear of ground workers that are doing the work, and it's the same ratio of verification for them. So the confusion, I wouldn't say it was confusion, but misinterpretation. 735 clearly has a kind of rationale, and if you look at the various elements, i.e. the competency of your workforce, if you look at the complexity of the design, if you look at the risk of the site, the characteristic situation, or, you can then determine the risk-based approach that a verifier should be taking. So it doesn't appear to be implemented in some cases, and it's all out 100% verification on everything, no matter what the complexity, what the competencies of the installers, or what the gas regime is. So I thought I just wanted to raise a flag on that one, and maybe any listeners out there who might have views, certainly come and voice them and say what you think. Is it right everything's 100%? Because also you've got the non-skilled workforce, certainly in environments, 100% is applicable to them. But then there's going to be places where a skilled workforce working on a very low risk site with a very low complexity of design, do we need to go 100% on them? Just a question to leave you with. My second thoughts for this podcast this week is about the well-being of our teams, our people out on site. Now, the reason I've raised this one is I've been working out on site. Well, as you all know, I'm out assessing, I'm meeting loads of different learners, I meet different occupations at work alongside our sector. But you meet people, you get chatting to them, you find out little bits and pieces about them. Some people really interesting, but some people you can sometimes sense there might be underlying issues. Now, we've all got things going on in our lives, we're all busy people, and when we look at what's going on around us, we've got the financial crisis at the moment. People are all concerned about what interest rates are doing and paying the bills, and the cost of living all creeping up. We've also got all the stresses and strains of family life, kids, parents, partners, husbands, wives, sorting out all those everyday, very important elements of our life. But recently I encountered a learner who was, I certainly noticed a change in the way they were behaving on site, as in, they were quite reserved, they weren't keen to get involved with their assessment, i.e. answer questions. I was asking them, taking part in, some work activities that they really didn't want to contribute to. They try to shy away from it. So I actually took a little bit of time and said to the learner, should we just step aside for a moment and have a chat, I think his impression was I was going to start asking him technical questions about the work they were doing. But no, my first question to him was, how are you? Is everything all right? And I thought that was a question that nobody had ever asked him. And it was quite an important question to ask, because you could almost see the weight come off his shoulders. Actually, somebody's asking me how I am, and straight away he opened up and he said, to be honest, Neil, I'm not really up for the inspection today for my assessment. I'm finding it really difficult. I've got a lot going on in my life, problems at home, situations that he was struggling with, but he needed somebody to talk to, and he hadn't had that opportunity. So with a bit of discussion and consultation with him, we actually approached it back to his employer. Now, I think as employers and more senior people in our companies, project managers, contracts managers, etc., being responsible for this is a serious thing that we've got to get hold of. And I'm seeing it, slowly. A few more cases have come to light recently, but I think we need to step in and, play our part. We all talk the good talk on social media channels. I see a lot on LinkedIn. I see a lot on Facebook. We're doing this for well-being, mental health awareness, equality and diversity. But let's really, do we factor this in? Do we really address the issues, or do we talk the talk but don't walk the walk? So it was just a thought of mine today. I've actually now signposted that particular learner to an organisation, Mates in Mind, who support various issues for construction workers predominantly, and hopefully he's going to go away. He's going to, find his feet. He's had a chat with his employer. Hopefully his employer has also, thought about their actions, and hopefully they're all going to find, some common ground to work things out and make things better. That's the ultimate thing, because our most valuable resource out in the construction industry is our operatives and ourselves. So looking after them has got to be key. So I just thought I'd bring that up today, and maybe a little bit of thought for you all. But the two topics today, hopefully they're both going to maybe factor into some documentation and policies that you operate. Certainly writing into your method statements how verification plays out is, I think, quite key, that you can, stipulate what you think your expectations are, and it should be an early stage negotiation. Likewise with health and well-being, it's certainly a company policy that should be taken on board by everybody, and hopefully used and support all our workforce, and hopefully make the workplace a better place. So thanks everyone for joining me this week. I'll be back again next week, and we'll pick up some more topics. But in the meantime, please feel free to comment, give us a call, drop us an email, come and find us on LinkedIn or Facebook. We're always there. We're always looking for discussions, and most importantly, look after yourselves. And I'll see you all soon. Cheers now. Bye.